here from Onchain Media, coming to you live from Onchain Summit in San Francisco. I'm joined today with Ibu from Folks Finance. And what's going on, Ibu? It's crazy that we're meeting each other in person for the first time. I've been on so many calls with this guy. We've done content, spaces, you name it. I've been actually an ambassador of Folks Finance. So It's super awesome to sit here with you today in person and finally cook together.
You too, Rachel. Really nice to meet you in person for the first time. You've been our ambassador for a while. I don't even know, maybe a year, maybe a little less or more. But just super happy to be. It's actually my first Base in-person event, like dedicated Base.
Wow.
I went in Denver. I went to the ETH,
the activation,
the Base booth, and I've been to some other stuff for Base too. But yeah, I just was like, you know what, I love Base. It's been a chain that I've been playing around with, trading on, and collecting on for almost 2 years now. So it was like, yeah, I got to pop out for Onchain Summit.
I mean, you've been really cooking, man. Folks Finance has just been so good for the Base ecosystem in regards to the DeFi space. So we're going to get into all things Folks Finance today on this podcast. So Ibu, can you just take a moment to introduce yourself, like share who you are, what your role is, and a bit about your background in the space?
Yeah, of course. So I'm the CMO of Folks Finance. I also have a project I'm a co-founder of called Docker, separate from Folks. Folks is a cross-chain DeFi protocol, but my background, I actually started in the space as a content creator. Mm-hmm. So I first got into crypto in 2020. I started trading, hoping that I would change my life with a couple button clicks, just like most people. And back in that time, it was like the time of ETH competitors. Mm-hmm. So back then, ETH was kind of still seen as like a chain that I would say people genuinely would use like for DeFi on a regular basis, just because it was very early. They still do today, but there's layer twos, there's alt chains, like there's way more options that are faster. So like back then, those chains were still spinning up. Mm-hmm. One of them that I liked was called Algorand.
Yeah, you're super active in the Algorand community, man. I've seen you.
yeah, because that was where I started. That was like my home base. So I've
been around forever. Algorand's been around forever.
Yeah. So back then it was still like relatively new. And in May 2021, I decided to make a page called Algo HQ. It was like a TikTok page, basically, that would just focus on Algorand content, educational, white papers, updates in the ecosystem, whatever. And I did it because not only did I like Algorand, but I was trying to explain to my friends about crypto and didn't want to keep repeating myself and being like that guy who's kind of like annoying about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll just make videos. And if they ever want to like learn, I'll just send them the vids.
His videos are really good, you guys. I got to do a little, gotta give you your flowers, man. Cause I came into Folks Finance and was like, hey, do you guys need help on like the video side? You need short form videos. Then I find Ibu's timeline. I'm like, okay, clearly they know what they're doing over at Folks.
Thank you. So yeah, I started making videos at Algo HQ, and there was also nobody else making videos in that ecosystem at the time. So I kind of had like a clear path, and I was able to grow the page pretty quick. And then I started to I got my first couple jobs with crypto companies as like community manager, content, like social media guy, and bring it to the summer of 2022. I had just gotten out of a job. I was working for an NFT marketplace. They ran out of money. All of a sudden, like they shut everything down right away. And I was like, what the hell? I'd only been working technically in crypto for not even a year. Like I started my page a year ago at that point, but I'd only had jobs in crypto for like 7 months or something. So I really barely had qualifications. And then
just jump right in.
Yeah, because my background's not even in finance, tech, or anything.
You come from a creative background, right?
Yeah. I studied music, singing for studied music my whole life, and then I studied singing through high school.
Can you sing us a song here today?
I'm not going to do that right now.
All right, we'll warm up. We'll warm up to it one of these days.
Off camera. But anyway, so the CEO of Folks, Ben, he reached out to me like, you want to do...
Shout out to Ben. Ben's
to Ben.
a legend. Ben's a goat.
He reached out, you want to do content, social media part-time for Folks? I was like, sure. And then, Folks at the time was very fledgling DeFi company in the Algorand ecosystem. It was trying to compete with the first job I had, which was a lending protocol called AlgoFi. They had launched not way before, but like 5-6 months before folks, and had a distinct advantage. Like they already had like 100 million in TVL. Folks had like 1 million in TVL at the time. But I joined folks because I was like, okay, it's a good company, and like, I could sense there's promise here. But at the same time, I kind of had no other options. I was like, I may not get a job in crypto if I don't just take this and like keep money coming in. So I just took it, and it's been amazing. Like ever since then, folks has scaled to much bigger project and much bigger company than it was at the time. Now we have about 200 mil TVL. We hit an all-time high last fall, 450.
Congratulations. That's huge.
I think, in terms of TVL, we could definitely go for $1 billion probably in the rest of this year.
I could see it for you guys. Yeah.
Markets permitting, but we'll get into it. But anyway, and over the past couple of years, I also just, really put my nose to the grindstone, and I've been lucky enough to, keep leveling up in the folks team. And I'm blessed enough to kind of be running the marketing team at this point. And I just hope I have done a decent enough job to grow us.
Absolutely. I mean, the graphic, when they onboarded me as an ambassador, you guys, they have like a Notion page, they have graphics, they have brand assets. It's like, there is no stone that's left unturned. You guys thought of everything, and the onboarding experience was like one of the best that I've had with like kind of working with a brand. It's like, you guys handed me everything on a platter. You're like, have fun, have at it. Like we worked on a thread together, we've done content, and it's just been a fun experience working with you guys. Like you're serious builders, you know? So.
Yeah. So thank you. Now I'll tell the audience really about like what Folks does. So Folks is a cross-chain DeFi protocol. We have a couple products that we offer. The primary one is lending. So in crypto, you can deposit assets in a lending protocol. I'm explaining this to you. You obviously know it already, but it's for audience as well.
For our viewers and listeners.
You deposit, let's say ETH, right? You have like $100,000 of ETH, and you're like, I kind of want to use a little bit of this money, but I don't feel like selling for whatever reason, whether it be you still believe it's going to go up, or maybe there's a tax reason you want to take a loan instead of sell. There's a variety of reasons people take loans. So you can deposit it in a lending protocol like Folks permissionlessly. It's open to anybody to use with a lot of money or a little, with a buck. You can start with $1, right? And then you can borrow against it. And that's quite useful for a variety of strategies, right? And that's what we spun up on Algorand originally. We were just on Algorand for the first couple of years. We also built liquid staking, which is when you stake an asset. You can also do something like ETH, and it's more for securing the chain. So you stake your asset, and then you can get like a secondary asset, derivative asset that you can spend in the ecosystem. So for like us, we have the biggest liquid staking on Algorand. It's called Xalgo, right? But there's there's liquid staking on ETH, like staked ETH, staked AVAX. Like it's pretty much every ecosystem has a liquid staking almost. Then you can combine, what we kind of figured out is you can combine those products, liquid staking and lending, to make even more iterations, like leveraged liquid staking, where it's a whole thing. But like, we've kind of been innovating and iterating on DeFi. So we were in Algorand for a couple years. And then like it was deep bear market 2022. And we were like, okay, we should probably try to find other chains as well, expand the audience, expand the user base, expand the amount of capital that can be invested, or not invested, but deposited.
That's very good from a strategic standpoint that you guys set it up to be an omni-chain project where you're supporting, multiple communities, and that opens up the floodgates for more liquidity to come through.
Exactly. But the difficulty was that Algorand doesn't use EVM, like Ethereum's code.
So that's going to be
coding language.
How did you guys overcome that challenge?
So that's why we built the way that we have a cross-chain lending protocol on Base, Avalanche, Binance, Arbitrum, a bunch of other chains as well. Because it was either like, let me explain it in this way. If like lending step level 1 is you have your protocol on one chain, like we had it on Algorand, right? And then lending level 2 can be you have that protocol and you've forked it a bunch of times to be live on a bunch of different chains. So that's what some of our competitors like Aave, Morpho. They have
Shout out Morpho.
Shout out Morpho, I guess, but shout out Folks primarily first. But they have that model where, because they use Solidity, the coding language of Ethereum, it's easy to translate that app from ETH to Base to AVAX to Polygon, et cetera, because you kind of just need to copy paste it and change one or two things.
Right.
But for us, because we built on Algorand, we couldn't do that. So we had to go to lending level 3. From 1 to 3, we had to skip 2. And level 3 is like, you have one app that has the same experience and connects all chains instead. Because the problem with level 2, you can have an Aave on ETH mainnet and an Aave on Base, which they have, but they don't interact in any way. So the money on ETH doesn't move with the money on Base, and it actually creates what's called fragmentation in DeFi, which is generally a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because you have a couple $1 million over here that people can use for lending, a couple $1 million over here. It would be better if it was comboed
pulled together. Yeah.
Like, then it's deeper, more people can use it. It's more healthy for the ecosystem. So what we built, and we released this about a year ago in September 2024, Folks Chain, is we have a lending protocol that has the ability where you can deposit something on one chain and borrow against it on another chain. So you can deposit ETH on Base and borrow against it on AVAX if you want to do a strategy over there, or you can deposit on mainnet and borrow on Base, or whatever, kind of infinite combinations. And the other thing we have is unified deposit pools for cross-chain assets. And this is something that's really interesting, but not super well known. It's actually very early. So USDC, right? It has the same standard across every chain. Like there's a set amount, like there's this X amount of USDC live.
Okay.
And there's no wrapped USDC. It's just USDC, because they set up their own technology circle, that the company Circle set up their own technology to facilitate that. So what Folks built is, instead of having USDC deposits on one chain and then separate from another chain, this one, if it's a natively cross-chain asset like that, they'll be combined into one pool, which is much more efficient for the markets and much healthier for the markets. Now, I know I kind of went on a bit of a tear there. So please, let me stop and help me break it down. Help me break it down, with whatever I can explain a bit better.
Okay. All right. Sorry. There's a lot to unpack here. Okay. I am curious, right? Because you're here at Onchain Summit. You're clearly prioritizing the Base community and the Base ecosystem.
Yeah,
I'm curious,
Base.
Let me think of how to phrase this. What have your interactions been like with the Base community? And have you built any relationships with other DeFi projects in the Base ecosystem? And how do you guys kind of collaborate together? Yeah,
definitely. Well, I love Base. We have a huge amount of users from Base at Folks. It's either our top or second biggest chain in terms of the amount of users that have interacted with Folks from it. We've partnered with we're working with Aerodrome. We've listed multiple tokens from the Base ecosystem, like Kaito, for example. We've worked with Hydrex. And there's a couple other cooks that are cooking right now.
Okay, all right.
But
still in the oven, you guys. We can't talk about.
Yeah, it's cool to Base has a great DeFi ecosystem, but at the same time, I think it's still very fertile.
It's early.
It's early. The ground, the soil is really. It's not been overused, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, if you came in, I feel like timing-wise, I feel like you really understand the importance of timing and inertia. And coming into the Base community, I feel like it's been right for a project like Folks Finance. So yeah, I'm curious, if you have any projects you're looking to collaborate or connect with, what is the ideal project for Folks Finance? What kind of projects or people are you looking to collaborate with?
It's a good question, and there's a lot of ways that we can approach it. But one thing that I hope we can accomplish is making DeFi lending, which is something that's generally more difficult for people to understand.
It's very niche.
Yeah, it's very niche. It's DeFi lending on just single chain. That level 1 is niche, but then if you cross chain, it's even a bit more difficult to kind of understand. And at least I'm aware of that. From my perspective in the marketing, trying to be very educational and trying to just help people get used to why it's useful. But at the same time, it would be it would be good if we could have a way for users to get the benefits of Folks like without knowing that it's Folks in a way. Almost like how they integrated the DEX into Coinbase, exchange.
Right.
It would be cool. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to do that with Folks. Like that, let me just be clear. Like those are not conversations that have happened, but it would be cool to have something like that with other apps in the Base ecosystem. Like I interact a lot with Zora personally, and it would be cool if I don't know, Zora accounts could interact with Folks in some way, or
I would love to see that happen. I'd love to see that.
I'm just kind of spitballing here, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of that
frictionless
back end integration. And that's one of the great things about crypto is that the apps can kind of Lego together really nicely with the smart contracts and the composability. So you can have something like how, for example, Zora uses Uniswap for their pools, and maybe in the future they would use Folks for some yield product that they have. So I don't know. It's just cool stuff like that. We're trying to cook. Yeah.
I envision with Folks, I think your head's in the right place, creating more modularity and interoperability with these platforms. I think that's something I would really like to see for Folks. I'm curious, what have been, if any, major challenges with getting into the Base ecosystem that you guys have overcome?
I would say it's not just Base, but one of the challenges that we have at Folks, it's a double-edged sword being a cross-chain project, because the good thing is you get to expand to new chains, you get to connect with their communities, you get to potentially build a wider community than other products that are only on one chain. So we interact with the Base community, but also the rest of the communities that we're live on.
Right.
But the other side of the blade is that you don't necessarily have the ability to go as deep in any community.
That's true, yeah.
Because you have to be constantly discussing or I don't want to say marketing to each community. I want to have a better word, engaging, connecting and engaging with each community. The AVAX community has a different culture than Base community, and that has a different culture than Arbitrum's community.
Totally.
You got to be playing those different relationships and building them. But it's hard when you have only so many. Yeah, you have only so many people on your team. You can only really do so much. You can only fit so much in the content schedule. So I'd say that's been one of the challenges with Base, is that we want to keep going deeper and deeper, but we also have to keep going deeper and deeper on the rest of the networks. And so it's kind of a juggling game.
A lot of upkeep, it's ambitious. It really seems like you have the right team to kind of work the landscape of what you guys are doing, right? You're connected with these different communities. You have talented, intelligent people on the team. So I'm very optimistic about the future of Folks.
Thanks.
Now I'm curious, we had this recent NFT launch. You guys had all these things, the founders collection and everything. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So we dropped some NFTs. I love the idea of NFTs and DeFi working together.
Oh yeah.
You can use NFTs as a way to identify your
digital
core,
identity,
most dedicated community members, especially as crypto products go more mainstream. I think it'll be valuable for projects to have that core degen on-chain community that are identified with NFTs, and then because there's a limited amount, you can kind of build extra benefits and reward those people. So we did 2,500 NFTs, but 1,500 of them we did on Base. So that was the biggest allocation. And yeah, at the same time, we've been live cooking for almost 4 years now. And we're finally coming up on very close to the Folks token launch. So that's something we
got the TGE.
We're looking forward to as well. And a good amount of that should go to Base ecosystem. So it's gonna be fun.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Base ecosystem, it got very quiet out here, and I think Jesse is speaking right now. You can hear a pin drop out there. I kind of feel bad. I don't want to be too loud. But yeah, so we are here live at Onchain Summit, and this is a big moment for the Base community. So yeah, we were discussing the TGE. Do you want to touch on anything else around that, or any calls to action for our viewers and listeners today?
We're gonna be probably releasing more information about the TGE soon. Just follow our pages.
Where can people find you? Or where can folks find you?
Twitter at Folks Finance, FOLKS. And that's probably going to be the main channel that you get the news from. We also, have other channels like Instagram, YouTube, newsletter. You can follow me at IBUPROD, Ibu Prod.
Check out his video content, you guys.
Thank you, thank you.
You have like
Also
this
on
whole
Farcaster.
educational thing on your website. Like I went in and was watching like different videos you've created. So what is it? It's like
Folks Academy.
Folks Academy, yeah. Folks, what is the website again?
Academy.folks.finance. You'll find tutorials on how to use Folks, but also like general DeFi or general crypto vids that I tried to make them so you can share them with a friend and not feel like it's cringe. So like, what is DeFi? What is crypto? What is lending? What is trading? Like all these things, 2-minute videos, vertical, TikTok style, like quick and easy. And hopefully those help people who are new as well.
Awesome. Okay. And lastly, I know you're a big proponent of Zora, Farcaster, like all of these new on-chain social platforms. Where can people find you on there as well?
Yeah. So Twitter, of course, I mentioned before, but Ibu Prod. I think on Zora, it's Ibu Karel, Karel. And on Farcaster, it's just Ibu, IBU.
Yes, wow. You got just Ibu. That's
I
awesome.
know. 3 letters. Pretty dope.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are at time here. Ibu, thank you so much for taking the time today. And to our viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Shout out to Folks Finance.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Rachel.
Woo.